Hey everybody, Joe and Dave here from the neuHouzz Real Estate Group. Beginning in January, Happy New Year to everyone out there. This week we wanted to talk about the BC assessments that are coming out. Everybody seems to be getting them basically as we speak. So we wanted to kind of highlight that, answer a few questions, and give some insight to what the BC assessments are. So that's why I have Dave here. So Dave, what can people expect to see with their latest assessment?
So this year, we all know that the market readjusted itself. Late spring, kind of early summer, June of last year, the prices really started to adjust downward, I would say. And the tendency went from a high seller's market to more of a balanced market. So right now what you're getting in January 3rd when they came out is you're going to expect in the Okanagan here somewhere between a 5 and 15% increase in your value, but you're saying, hey, hang on a second, the market was retracting, and we all know that through all the news media outlets. Those assessments or those value evaluations were done in June of 22. So there's about a 6-month lag from when the government looks at what the property value is based on comparable sales in the area and to the time it releases it. So that lag, unfortunately, the market softened. We went into our sort of our winter hibernation mode as well. So you're seeing some prices today that your current market value is actually lower than your assessment. So don't be surprised if your BC assessment did go up, in that 5 to 15% range. That was expected because that was the valuation given back in June of last year now.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. And what could people expect? Will this affect people's taxes or anything like that?
So taxes, as far as taxes go, if you're moving with the average in your grouping, so single family home in, let's say, Penticton in a certain neighborhood, they went up 15%. If you're in that average, then your property taxes are going to stay very level. And that's aside from if the city of Penticton, as an example, decides to raise property taxes. But just as a whole, if they said we're going to hold tight at 0% increase for this year, you're going to see the same. Now, if you see your valuation go, say, 40% versus all of your neighbors, because you've done something unique or you've got a unique property that's being evaluated, that's when you may expect a property tax increase, or you want to look at what the actual real market value of your property is today if you need to file a discrepancy with the BC assessments. Same thing if you see something where your property value dropped versus everybody else in your neighborhood staying flush or coming up, you may be in for a tax break. So maybe your property taxes are going to come down a little bit. Things like lots and bare land are an example of something that has dropped a little bit because it's not as appetizing right now with a fully built single family home price coming down. I would rather actually buy something that I can see and touch today than get into what are the prices and costs of building materials. So that's one of the first things that we're seeing as retracting right now.
Cool, thanks for that. Yeah, and so how will these assessments affect buyers or sellers in this market? Does it have any effect?
It could a little bit. On the buyer side of things, I know we try to use, we commonly get asked, well, hey, the assessment is $500,000 and they're asking for $650,000. And I want to offer around the tax assessed value. Well, as we just mentioned, there's usually a lag in that. And generally, in normal terms, a tax assessed value is always less than the current market value because of that lag. In this case, it's a little flipped. So, you may have a tax assessed value of $750, but the market value may realistically only be $600 or $650 because it's the way the market went down. So on a buyer side, really not too much impact there. On the seller side, that may be a case where your seller's agent is going to have a conversation with that client that, hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your property, I know it says $1 million on your assessment, but realistically, based on our sales comparables, we know that this property is probably going to move in the 900 range, and these are the reasons why. So that could be a little bit of a difficult conversation, but and that's just kind of the way it is, and it's up to a good agent to help you work through those things.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So that assessed value isn't, like, let's say for a buyer, it's not going to cause them to have to pay any kind of difference or anything like that if they're putting in offers or anything, right?
Yeah. So as far as financing goes, no. Generally the tax assessment is just the province's assessment of your value. When it comes to financing and lenders, they're going to do an appraisal. And so sometimes what we were seeing in the early stages when the market was adjusting is you would be writing an offer for $750,000 on a house, and because the market was sliding and the comparables came up at say $675,000, sometimes the financer would want you to cover that difference of the contract between $750,000 and the appraised value of $675,000. And then they would go with whatever down payment you were required to add on. So that could be a cost that you could run into through financing appraisals, but it's definitely not tied to tax assessed value.
Right. Excellent point. Thank you for clarifying that, just to make sure everybody understands those two things. So yeah, everybody, if you have any questions about your assessment or the value of your property, your home, condo, apartment, whatever it might be, definitely reach out to us here at neuHouzz. Let us know. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. Hopefully this was a little helpful and some clarifying points for you as far as your assessment goes. So until next time, we will